Hey folks, it's Vic Noble here with you with another weekly trade example for the week ending August the 26th of 2011. I had to think about that for a sec. What I want to show you today is how you actually, how do you, when you see a support resistance level, how do you make a trade around it? And how you actually use what we call the Noble entry for making these trades. And this is a very powerful method for getting a low risk entry with big profit potential. And in fact, it's the actual cornerstone of the London closed trade strategy that we use. You've seen Shirley trade that thing. She's unbelievable. I mean, it's like 94%. If you haven't checked out the London closed trade strategy, sorry, I got to put a little plug in for that. Go check it out. It uses the Noble entry exclusively in that, and it's very good. But anyway, this is a 4-hour chart of the British pound Japanese yen. And this is on the 24th. You can see price was coming down. Look at this range we've been in here. I mean, there's been the highs. And here's been the lows, and this thing has just been stuck in here doing nothing. However, you can actually make some very good trades in here. As this high got made, if you measure from the low back on the 10th of August up to the high, look at how this 38% level comes right back into this support resistance level. See that? That's a pretty darn good level to watch. Now, we don't know what's going to happen here, and that's the beauty of the Noble entry. You wait, you just watch, just observe. And then we'll show you how to get into it here. But as it comes down into it, I want to show you what was going on the 1-hour chart at the same time. On the 1-hour chart, here's that big channel I talked about that we're in on this currency pair. It's just not going anywhere, right? Look at this resistance up here. Isn't that amazing? Just sitting there. And now from this low here, let me see, I got the right tool on here. Yep. From this low back on the 17th up to the spike high, we had a 79% retracement. Okay, back to these lows. This blue line here was the S2 daily pivot that day. If I zoom this out, here is that low we just saw on the 4-hour chart that we saw the 38% retracement, and there it is again. Okay, in fact, you can't even see the 79% retracing because it's on top here. Let me zoom this out. Maybe you can. Yeah, they're right in here. See how this we have this zone of possible support. 79% retracement from this low. And then from the low way back there is this 38% retracement. And we have an S2 daily pivot, and we have this old support resistance. Now, is it going to stop there? Well, who knows? I mean, the market's going to do what it's going to do. But we're going to observe. And look what happens. We move it ahead an hour, price spikes down to it. By the way, I want to make a point here. When I look at this chart, here, let me just get rid of some of this stuff here. I knew before price even got down here that this could possibly be support, didn't I? I knew it because I just knew it could possibly be because there was such a big confluence of Fibonacci levels, pivots, old lows. So when I see that, it just puts me on alert. You can put a trade alert on your screen if you want, so that when it gets down there, you can go and check it out. Well, if we move this ahead, price goes and spikes down into it. Now, look at, if you hadn't bought there, it's come all the way back up. What do? Well, you could say, oh, you missed the trade. Hey, how do you know if you're going to buy it right there? How do you know where to put your stop? I mean, you're going to put it way down below this low here, maybe? That's a long ways off. I mean, how many pips are you going to get? It's kind of hard to say. Well, watch what happens with the Noble entry. You go down to your 15-minute chart. Here's that same S2 daily pivot. Here's where it hit. Here's the rally. Now what can we do? We can look to buy a dip, because the thing is this. Price doesn't usually go straight up, okay? It usually goes up and down and up and down. And we look for this initial rally, then a drop, and we look to buy 62 to 79%. And if you watch what happens here, this thing comes down. It's very scary, isn't it? You know, buying it when it's coming down, but your risk is underneath here. And it actually did pop down just below that 79% level. Actually started to come back up, and what a move it made. And this is like, this needed like a 15 pip risk. This level, where do you think you should take profit? How does 20 look to you? I mean, just look at this level, this 126.20. Wow, look at the support at this level. That's a very, very good logical place to take profit, okay? And, you know, I mean, you're risking 15 pips, you're making 50. How's that? That's over 3 to 1. That's just extremely good, okay? What happened? Were you smart to take profit at 20? I mean, you never know. It could keep going up. You just have to have a logical place to take it. Don't worry about getting every last little pip out of this thing. I'm just moving this along now to show you what's happened in the meantime. I mean, that was a pretty darn good level to take a profit. Okay, so don't ever be afraid to take a profit. Some people are actually afraid to take a profit. Just keep an eye on these levels, guys. They make a big difference. Use the Noble entry with them. I mean, let's go back to this 1 hour chart. All of that, look at this resistance. It hits it again, it's resistance. It hits it again, it's resistance. It's resistance. Resistance. And we knew about this, didn't we? I mean, when price came up to here, did you not think that it could be resistance? Well, of course, because it was resistance before. It might be resistance again. When price comes up to here, this time it went through it a little bit, but came up to this level right here. It's resistance. What happens when it comes down to here? It's support. We can use the Noble entry in these places. Okay, here's another bounce. And they can really add up. So anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. You know, we teach this stuff in the Coaches Corner. I got to give a little plug for it here, but I'll tell you something. You know what? There's some fantastically good traders in there. This, like I say, the Noble entry is the cornerstone of the London close trade, which Shirley Hudson has perfected unbelievably well. I mean, she's like 94% accurate with it. She's in the Coach's Corner. She shows these kinds of trades all the time. You really owe it to yourself to have a look at that. Because it's quite stellar results just trading around the London close. And by the way, I got to tell you guys something. This trade itself, see this here where it came back? That was at the London close, where we expect there to be a counter trend move. I mean, this setup here is like ideal, even though it wasn't actually technically it didn't actually have all the parameters that we look for London close, except that when you're trading around support resistance with a Noble entry, you got yourself a good chance. And actually, I did a Coach's Corner open house last week, and thanks so much for those that joined up. Really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to helping you with your trading. And we actually gave away, as part of the deal, we gave away the Noble entry course together with the support resistance course that I've done. It's just free as part of the deal. So I mean, I think that'll really help, because it's all about what I just showed you here, and there's lots of examples that you can look at too. So anyway, I think I've rattled on long enough here. Hope you guys have a great weekend and week ahead, and I'll be back at the end of next week with another weekly trade example for you. Alrighty? Thanks so much.